What's up, good people? What's up, everybody in Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, however you watch me, wherever you're watching, what's up? Hope everybody had a good day. Good day. It is Tuesday, July the 23rd, 2019, and we're almost through this year. And it's a good thing. I'm ready for it to be over. I mean, this has been a strong year for a lot of us, and it's been a hard year, strong year. Let me give some shout outs right quick. What's up, Shonda? Thanks for joining again. What's up, Cornelius, Lori, and LaRon, and everyone else who just joined. Please, thank you guys for joining. I can't see a lot of your names on here, but just hold on. The stream will, if this stream starts to get a little glitchy, it'll be okay. It will clean itself out. Just kind of hold on. It's not on your end. I think it's on a Facebook algorithm end. I'm starting to hear that a lot from people who are doing Facebook live streams. So anyway, hope everyone had a great day. It's been a cool weather here. Cooler. Let's just say cooler than it has been. Looks like all over the country we have been experiencing hot. What's up, Gabriel? What's going on, Ms. Ward? What's up, Crystal and Cherie? It's been very hot. It's been very difficult. But we've gotten a break in the weather wherever you are. We had a massive heat wave all over the country. I mean, anytime you hear about in Alaska, there was temperatures of 90 degrees. And I also heard that in Antarctica, it got up to 84 degrees in Antarctica. So, I mean, that global warming, the earth is getting hotter. And it's just simple. The earth is getting hotter. So guys, just try to do what you can to do your part in saving the environment. I know you guys have a lot of folks out there that have said, what's going on, Derek, have said, oh, tree huggers, but try to do your part in saving the environment, even if you have to recycle. That helps. Even if you're going out and just buying reusable bags. And I know you guys probably saying my little footprint doesn't matter, but if your footprint is duplicated through millions of people's footprint, it matters. So definitely please do your part in helping our environment. We have no other place to go. So whether we want to become dumb and be stupid, because we see this is happening and we want to change. I mean, it's just something that we just definitely want to change. All right, guys, let's get into this. Tomorrow is the big day. Tomorrow is the big day for Congress. Well, I would say for the Democrats. Tomorrow's a big day for the Democrats. The Democrats are anticipating that they are going to hear something tomorrow. Tomorrow, Robert Mueller, he is the prosecutor who wrote the Mueller report. He's the prosecutor that was tasked to investigate the Russia interference from the 2016 election. So we know that the report has said that there is no, quote unquote, as Trump has said, no collusion, but we know that there is sections where he did obstruct justice and he committed crimes. So tomorrow will be the day where America actually hears from Robert Mueller. He has had a press conference, and yes, he did say that he's not going to talk about a lot of stuff, but it appears that the Trump administration is very afraid and skeptical of what he's going to say. So they tried to issue a gag order or some type of executive privilege. And executive privilege is when the president of the United States can say, this is executive privilege. I'm going to use my executive privilege to say that you cannot do anything related to what's happening. So he tried to use executive privilege, and honestly, I don't think it's not going to work. It's not going to work at all. But nevertheless, that's what's going on. So watch this report here. I'm going to play a little sound from Huffington Post, and we'll come back and we'll talk about it. You'll hear from Richard Nader in reference to how he feels that this is going to go tomorrow. All right, let me play this. Here we go.
Well, the report presents very substantial evidence that the president is guilty of high crimes and misdemeanors, and we have to present or let Mueller present those facts to the American people.
But it is important to note that the facts that are now established by this report are damning.
The Mueller report said if we could find that the president didn't commit a crime, we'd say that. And it said we do not in any way exonerate him from committing obstruction of justice.
I think that Mueller report was clear. The president's not exonerated.
They and others created a fraud in our country with this ridiculous witch hunt, where it was proven very strongly, no collusion, no obstruction, no nothing.
I think the Democrats have way overstepped and overplayed this. They tried to mislead the American people to think that the president was going to somehow be removed and was colluding with a foreign country, and it wasn't true. It didn't happen. And now it's time for them to get over it, but they won't get over it.
The whole report is a joke. And, look, I know there was no collusion, and I know there was no obstruction.
Okay, so this is what we have heard from what's going to go down, what they anticipate that's happening tomorrow. Was there any direct form? See, when you hear the words no collusion, you're thinking in terms in your head of that Donald Trump himself. This is what Robert Mueller, when you hear people say there was no collusion, did Donald Trump himself tell the Russians to do this without, and they caught him? Okay. And that's what Mueller could not prove. It's not that he didn't do it. It's just that he couldn't prove it, that there was a smoking gun. So Trump was at least crafty in handling whatever connections that he had. We know about the meeting that Don Jr. had. We know about all those different things in reference to what was said. So Trump was crafty in that area. Does it mean that it's enough for evidence to say he colluded, which means he had a partnership with the Russians? It's not enough, apparently, what Robert Mueller did. However, there is evidence in that report. If you haven't read the report, and shout out to the person who sent me the actual book, Robert Mueller's book of the report. If you have not read the report is 400 pages. And I know who has time to read 400 pages. I don't, and I know you don't. However, so tomorrow, what I'm thinking that you're going to hear tomorrow is that Robert Mueller will say his answers through the report. Page whatever, page this, line that. That's what I assume that we're going to hear tomorrow. I'm assuming that we're going to hear Robert Mueller refer back to references to answer his questions in the report. That's my assumption. Now, was there evidence of Donald Trump obstructing justice? Meaning that Donald Trump tried to interfere with the report or with the investigation? Yes. Has he tried to block a lot of things? Yes. And that was proven in the report. So in my opinion, Donald Trump has committed crimes. We know that, but you can't just go off and say, well, he was just stupid, right? Because you have a lot of people around you who are supposed to be smarter than you, who could say, you know what, dummy, don't do that, right? That's if you listen to him. So this is what I'm gathering. So I guess the politics here is at play. And I've been very vocal. I've been very vocal to say that I don't agree with the speaker's reluctancy on starting the impeachment hearings. The hearings come first. There's a bill of impeachment. Soon as the bill passes, there's these hearings. There's no timeline to finish the hearings. There's no timeline to say the hearings must go from here to here. There's nothing in the Constitution. It says that it can start. That's what it says. It can start. So there's no timeline. So what I'm hoping is that the Democrats will turn around and say to themselves, okay, we have evidence. Now we're going to start at least an impeachment vote. This is enough to start an impeachment vote. Once we start the impeachment vote, they can still have the hearings to go all throughout next year. And they possibly, in my opinion, this is just Mark, may stop for the election and maybe bring it back up after the election, and in hopes that they may have a Senate. So let me help someone out there if you don't know what's happening. So in order to remove a sitting president, they must be impeached first. That's the impeachment is, we found evidence that you have not done what you're supposed to do in the responsibility of your job. Then there's the trial, which is almost like a jury trial. There's the trial through the Senate. The Senate has the trial. The Senate is tasked for removing. Well, from the politics perspective, the Democrats has enough votes to start the impeachment process, but we know that the Republicans are not going to remove Donald Trump for office. They're not going to do it because we've seen them collude with Donald Trump thousands of times. So they're not going to do anything like that. So tomorrow is going to be the big day. That's all you're going to hear on television tomorrow. So I know you guys are kind of like, I'm tired of this. I just want him out. I'm sick of Donald Trump. I'm sick of all this stuff. Just hold on, because you got to understand, this is a process. This is a process, and just hold on. So what I'm hoping is that the speaker, after this happens, all of her staff would get together, and all these committees will get together and say, we must start the impeachment process. They've already had a vote last week, and they got at least 90 people saying we want to start. Could you imagine if the speaker said, hey, we want to start this, and she pushes this? I don't see how the speaker could go into next year without starting the impeachment process. I don't see it. I think it is going to hurt the Democrats from the perspective of people going out in the local areas to campaign. They're not going to have anything to campaign on. I think it's going to hurt them. Let me go to some of your statements. Daniel, you said Trump told the bank told Trump that what they're doing is against the U.S. sanctions, but this did not stop them. Absolutely, it didn't stop them. So I feel that the Democrats are going to have to impeach. That's just it. The Democrats are going to have to start the impeachment process. They don't have to finish the final vote, but I believe that they must start the impeachment process. Shonda, you said, I'm eager to see what crazy ass questions the GOP congressman looking to discredit Mueller and the process. Absolutely. You know that's going to happen. That's a part of their playbook. So I'm curious to find out what the Democrats going to, because the ball is in their court. They have the numbers. They need to start the impeachment process. Even the NAACP. Let me just pull this up, because I believe I posted this. Oh, nope, sorry, I put it on Twitter. So if you're not following me on Twitter, let me put up my Twitter ID. If you're not following me on Twitter, please go to Twitter, because I post some stuff on Twitter throughout the day. But please follow me. It's at Marq Lewis. At Mark Lamar. That's Twitter. So if you're not following, please go there, and because I post some stuff there. So please be following me there. But on Twitter earlier, I posted. Let me see if I can bring this up right quick. I posted the NAACP. They had a convention. They had their national convention, and with their national convention, they put it up right here. With their national convention, they literally decided to say, we want to impeach Donald Trump. That's exactly what they did. So let me bring it up right here. And it says, let me bring it up on the screen so you guys can see it. And this is directly from the NAACP. It says, breaking, the NAACP delegates unanimously passed a vote calling for the impeachment of President Donald Trump at the NAACP convention. This happened today, ladies and gentlemen. This happened today. This happened today. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, why is this significant, Mark? You know, what does the NAACP have, and why is this so significant, and why is that important? Well, let me tell you why this is important. Let me explain to you why it's important. It's important because the NAACP stands for National Advancement for Colored People. If you're living under a rock, you don't know. The Democrats cannot win a primary without the black vote. That's a given. Without the black vote, the Democrats cannot win, period. So I believe what the NAACP is saying and sending a message to the speaker, they're saying as a unit with NAACP, we're standing and we're saying that you must impeach Donald Trump. So this is what this organization is saying. And that's why I said that that's so significant, because they are saying completely, you must impeach Donald Trump. And they're speaking with a big drum. And like I just said, no Democrat can win a primary without a black vote. As a matter of fact, I believe that the presidential election cannot be won without the black vote. That's my opinion. I believe that the numbers prove that when blacks come in certain areas, especially in the South, they come in certain areas, they can turn up. It may not be for, let's just say, for example, Georgia. Let's look at Georgia, for example. Georgia is a state that has notoriously is red, right? We know that. But let's just say that there was a candidate for Senate in Georgia. They can literally flip Georgia to a Democrat. That's why I really wanted Stacey Abrams to run for Senate, because I know that she would have won that Senate seat. And to be honest with you, from the politics of all this, if the Democrats turn around and decide to say, we're going to, let's say Donald Trump gets reelected. Let's just play the scenario. Let's say Donald Trump gets reelected, right? Let's say he gets reelected. And let's just say that the Democrats hold on to the House and the Democrats got the Senate. They have enough votes to remove Donald Trump. They have enough votes to remove him because they now control the Senate. So that's why this juggling act is very important. And that's why right here, the NAACP saying right now, if you want to, and this is what I'm paraphrasing, this is what I'm reading between the lines. If you want our vote, Democrats, you are going to have to start the impeachment process. This is what I see. Okay, so tomorrow is Robert Mueller. So we're going to talk about that on Thursday. And follow me. Make sure you follow me again on Twitter. Please make sure you follow me because I do a lot of commentary. You're probably going to see a lot of people talking about this tomorrow. But Thursday we'll come back. We'll talk about this. We'll definitely talk about this. All right, guys, let me talk about something that is, you probably don't even know about it. How do I know you don't know about it? Because you don't talk about it. Because you don't send me emails about it. Because you don't talk about it. Because you don't talk about it. So that's how I know you don't know. If you don't know, you're not going to talk about it. But if you talk about it, that means you know, right? It's the way I feel. How many people out there heard of Red Summer? Red Summer. I mean, honestly, don't Google it right now. Do you really know what Red Summer happened? Do you really know what happened in Red Summer? Do you really understand what happened in Red Summer? Let me show you some videos up here. Let me just show you some pictures on here, and we'll go here. Red Summer. Here's some photos. And I'm going to talk while these photos go across, and that way you guys will know. It started in 1919. Basically, white people went to several cities all across the country, killing, lynching, corrupting, burning down black neighborhoods. Anybody who was black, they went around and they killed them. Anyone who was black. Anyone. Let me play this video for you guys so you can see it.
My name is Timuel D. Black. I was born in Birmingham, Alabama, December the 7th, 1918. The South was absolutely Jim Crow, and what was then called Negroes were not permitted the same. They could not vote, they could not organize, they could not look at particularly Caucasian women or they would be lynched. So the threat headed by the Ku Klux Klan was continuous.
Their burnt-out car was discovered near Philadelphia, Mississippi.
There was an insecurity that made them uncomfortable, and the families were always afraid that that family would be torn apart. It was a dangerous time, a continuously dangerous time, because the Ku Klux Klan, a violent operated group, felt the responsibility to keep this newly freed ex-slave, ex-sharecropping group separated and at the same time controlled by the dominant white group. They were not entitled to the promises which has been made by the Constitution of the United States. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. Well, they were not considered men. They were considered property, chattel, not human.
So that's a little bit about Red Summer from a historian. So let me talk real quick about Red Summer and why this is important. We're celebrating 100 years of Red Summer. For those who do not know what Red Summer is, please listen up. I'm going to do some reading, so please listen up. And the reason I'm reading it is because I want to ensure that I give the justice and I won't forget some things. So let's go to this here. Red Summer. Summer of American Summer of 1919 ran red with blood and violence, racial violence, and yet today, 100 years later, not many people even know what it's about. It flowed in small towns like Elaine, Arkansas, in middle-sized places such as Annapolis, Maryland, and Syracuse, New York, and big cities like Washington and Chicago. Hundreds of African-American men, women, and children were burnt alive, shot, hanged, and beaten to death by white mobs. Thousands saw their homes and businesses burnt to the ground and were driven out. Many never returned. It was branded as Red Summer because the bloodshed amongst of some of the worst white on black violence in the U.S. history. Beyond the lives and family fortunes lost, it had far-reaching repercussions, contributing to the generations of black distrust of white authority. But it also galvanized blacks to defend themselves in neighborhoods with fists and guns, reinvigorating civil rights organizations like NAACP, and led to new era of activism, gave rise to courageous reporting by black journalists, and influenced the generation of leaders who were to take up the fight for racial equality decades later. The people who were icons of the civil rights movement was raised by the people who survived Red Summer. So let me go on to say this just a little bit more because I want to talk about this here. For all that, there was no national observance making Red Summer. History books ignored it, and most museums didn't acknowledge it. The reason Red Summer contradicts the post-World War I era notion that America was making the world safe for democracy. This is what historians are saying. It doesn't fit the neat stories we tell ourselves. This is what Dr. Kruger said, author of 1919, The Year of Racial Violence, How African Americans Fought Back. That could change. A monument has been proposed in Arkansas. Several authors have written about Bloody Summer. A Brooklyn chorale group performed Red Summer theme songs like "And They Lynched Him on a Tree" in March to commemorate the centennial. At the National World War I Museum in and Memorial in Kansas City, there will be a presentation there. Researchers believe that a span of 10 months, more than 250 African Americans were killed in at least 25 riots across the U.S. by white mobs that never faced punishment. Historian John Hope Franklin, you guys know who he is if you're from Tulsa, called it the greatest period of interracial strife the nation has ever witnessed. The bloodshed was the product of a collision of social forces. Black men were returning from World War I, expecting the same rights they fought and bled in Europe, and African Americans were moving north to escape the brutal Jim Crow laws of the South. Whites saw blacks as competition for jobs, homes, and political power. Ethnic cleansing was the goal of white rioters. This is what William Turtle, a retired professor of American Studies at the University of Kansas and the author of Race Riot, Chicago in the Red Summer of 1919. They wanted to kill as many black people as possible and terrorize the rest until they were willing to leave and live someplace else. They forced them out. So let me show you guys this picture right here. This picture right here is a picture in 1919. This photo was provided by the Chicago History Museum. A victim is stoned and bludgeoned into a corner of a house during the race riots in Chicago. So, ladies and gentlemen, why am I spending this time talking about the importance of this? The reason I'm spending my time talking about the importance of this is because it is important. It is certainly important when we're talking about what occurred in our country, what occurred in several different venues of what's happening in America. Why is this important? This is important because there are lasting effects. And one of the things that really came to my mind when I was reading this was the fact that the leaders of the civil rights movement were the children of people who were affected by Red Summer. Those were the leaders. So who do you think the descendants are today? The descendants are people who came up, our parents were in the civil rights movement, and now we're here today. Why am I talking about this? Why am I taking that time and talk about this? And the reason I'm saying is because when we're talking about post-traumatic stress disorders, it is a continual process. Racism, in my opinion, is a post-traumatic stress disorder. Not people who inflict racism, people who feel that they have been brutally have racism towards them. Those people, to me, in my opinion. Now, America owes a debt. And this is why a lot of us, we don't talk about this. We just sit back and we think, well, we've had a black president, so, there is no racism anymore. And if you notice that there's a lot of similarities of what's happening now to the black and brown that was happening to us back in 1919. And I guarantee you that this trickled down to Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921. So the Red Summer started in 1919, and Tulsa, Oklahoma, 1921 was the race massacre. You see how this stuff happened? So let me tell you what all the cities. So when people start talking this crap to you, they start saying, well, white people have not done this. And they talk about slavery. People forget about the massacres, the burning, the lynching. They forget about that. They forget about how certain white people hung, burned, lynched, not just men, not just women, but children as well. And none of these people have gone up to trial. None of them. Okay, so let's go here right here. It says in 1919 alone, violence erupted in such places: New York, Mississippi, Memphis, Tennessee, Philadelphia, Charleston, South Carolina, Baltimore, New Orleans, Wilmington, Delaware, Omaha, Nebraska, New Lincoln, Connecticut, Bixby, Arizona, Longview, Texas, Knoxville, Tennessee, Norfolk, Virginia, and Putnam County, Georgia. The violence didn't, let me just read this part right here, because this is great education right here. It says the violence didn't start or end in 1919. Some of the era of the Red Summer as the beginning with the deaths of more than 24 African Americans in East St. Louis, Illinois in 1917, and extended throughout the Rosewood Massacre of 1923, when a black town in Florida was destroyed. All told, at least 1,122 Americans were killed in racial violence over the 6 years time span. Y'all okay? Okay. I know you guys are scratching your head right now, right? I know you guys are saying, why they didn't tell us about this? Well, he who writes the history books is he who changes history. Okay? So if I don't tell you about what my people did to destroy folks, then you will always look at my people as what? The savior, not as the oppressor. Yeah, we'll let you listen to slaves and but we could talk about that because we got rid of slavery. But see, we never talk about Red Summer. We never talk about, so when you turn around and you see these communities that we call them ghettos, you see these communities that have torn things and people rebuild, and you say to them, and you look from afar, and you looking at these communities, you're like, well, why don't they pull themselves together? Why don't they get themselves together? See, we're judging them, right? We're judging them, but we don't know that there's the lineage. There's a lineage that comes with abuse and cycle of abuse, racism, Jim Crow. I mean, your family getting stoned. You seeing your parents go to prison. You see that cycle of abuse. And then, like people have said, if you don't feel hopeful, there ain't going to be no hope. There's no hope. So I want people to understand, and do me a favor, please. Study Red Summer. Please, I'm going to read one more thing and I'll let Red Summer go. I want to read this because I need you guys to feel this pain in this right here. Listen to this. Let me see, can I blow it up? I can't blow it up, but I'm going to highlight it, but I'm going to read it to you. It says, they had caught a Negro and desperately held him as one would a beef for slaughter. And when they had conveniently adjusted him for lynching, they shot him. Mr. Whitson wrote, I heard him groaning in his struggles as I hurried away as fast as I could without running, expecting every moment to be lynched myself. I need y'all to take all that in right there. Take all that in. Okay, let me keep reading because this is real good facts, and I know it's late, so let me just keep reading and I knock this down. In Elaine, Arkansas, poor black sharecroppers who had dared to join a movement were attacked. Couldn't even join a movement. And at least 200 African Americans were killed in Elaine, Arkansas alone, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, here's the hope, right? Ida B. Wells. Some of you guys know who Ida B. Wells is. She was an excellent journalist, a pioneering black journalist, and one of the few reporters to interview victims. Noted a woman named Lula Black was dragged from her farm by a white mob after saying she would join the Union. This is what she said. They knocked her down, beat her over the head with the pistols, kicked her all over the body, almost killed her. Then they took her to jail. They labeled this as the Arkansas Race Riot. The same mob went to Frank's Hall house and killed Frances Hall, a crazy woman housekeeper, tied her clothes over her head, threw her body in the public road where it lay dust exposed until the soldiers came Thursday evening and took up the body. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to say one more thing. I'm going to read this to you. I know you guys are like, okay, all right. Black journalists like Ida B. Wells played an important role in getting the story out. Black newspapers like the Chicago Defender were instrumental in providing an alternative voice that represented why African Americans deserved to be here, deserved equal rights, and were in some cases justified in fighting. This is what the curator of the Smithsonian African American Museum has said. Now, do you see why it's important why you guys are here tonight? You guys are hearing information that you may or may not have known that is concerning a group of people, which are African Americans. Now you're going to take this information and you're going to say to yourself, I need to go and study some more. That's what you're going to do, because that's what you do. That's what humans do. We find things that is curious to us and we go and study. I don't want you to walk away from this. I want you to take this in, to study this, and to share it with your children, and to explain to your children how this stain of what has happened. So when you see African Americans today pulling up their bootstraps and going to be smart, going to school, going to do something that is courageous, going to go out here, this is why I say that African American people are resilient people. They're resilient. They're resilient because they tried to kill. That's their motive. They wanted to kill black people. They wanted to kill them, but they didn't. So that's why your support is important here. That's why your support, you're here. You're supporting me because I'm giving you information that can help you throughout your life and your career. That's why you're here. All right, guys, let me go into my next. Please study Red Summer. Okay, let me say this before I let you guys go. Okay. Last year, I did a documentary on Jerusha Thompson. And Jerusha was the 20-year-old who was killed. And we wanted to find out what happened. So if you haven't seen that, just go to YouTube and just type in Jerusha Thompson, Gerasa. So last year, if you notice, if you've been following me for a while, I did this video and we talked about this and I interviewed her family. And it was a sad story. It's a sad story because, there was no justice that came out of it. This morning I received word that Jerusha's mother was killed violently, and it's just a sad story. I met Seconda, which is her mother. I met her through the recording and taping of Jerusha to try to figure out what exactly happened. Beautiful heart, a beautiful spirit. Her zeal was for her to find out what happened to her daughter. And when I do these stories, I only deal with the facts. I don't get all personal. But I only knew Seconda through that, that you see there to your left in reference to her daughter. And I received word this morning that she was brutally murdered. And, as usual, we are going to encourage people to, if you have any information, to call, the proper authorities. But, it's sad. So I feel like, sometimes a person's voice is silenced. But I just want to play a clip of Seconda, of the Seconda that I knew, fighting for her daughters. Just listen to this.
Just remember, and it's not like we have someone here. eventually justice will come, and that's what keeps me strong and moving. I know that eventually he will, but each and every day I feel like we're losing the trail. I feel like it's something else that needs to be done today, right now. Answer somebody, step up, do something. Because I don't understand why the sheriff department. I understand, but I'm like, it's not moving fast enough because, my Lord, some kind of charges. I just don't understand, why he's still free to move around, do whatever he's doing. He's not even. He hasn't even been held.
When will justice? So I wanted to kind of give her final voice that I would talk about Seconda, because she fought for her daughter, Jerusha, and she will be missed. I have not spoken to Seconda since last year, and I received word this morning that she was killed, and it's sad. It's sad. My heart goes out to the family, because they're still dealing with the death of Jerusha, which she was killed last year. And now they're going to be dealing with the death of Jerusha's mother. And so it's just sad. I'm not doing cases or anything like that in reference that happened. I just know that this is sad. And I wanted to ask you guys to send your hearts, prayers, good vibes, good love to that family, because they've gone through a lot, and now they have to go through something even further. So definitely please send your thoughts and prayers to the Boyd family, Seconda Boyd and Jerusha Thompson. Okay? All right. My last and final story, and this is a good one, okay? This couple right here, let me bring this couple on the screen. This couple right here is amazing. This couple here is from Philadelphia. They're from Philadelphia. And beautiful family. I have young kids. Beautiful, beautiful family. I just read this story about right before I got on. I read this story. And I was like, you guys need to hear about this. And this is near and dear to my heart because I've had family members that suffer the disease of cancer. And this couple has created a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful organization. And their organization is called What Cancer? Let me bring it up on the screen because y'all got to see this. It says Cancer Who? Cancer Who? They're a Black-owned company. They just started their first and only cancer support group in the country. The first and only cancer support group in the country, ladies and gentlemen. The first and only cancer group support group. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. Beautiful. And they created a organization, she said, because they care. That's why they wanted to do it. And this is what they said. They said, cancer, let me bring it up on the screen here. It says, cancer really hit us hard. And we were looking for extra support. But they couldn't find it. So we decided to create our own. This is what the husband said, Al. He said, we noticed that there were no centers where people with cancer can go to decompress and to let their emotions out. But also to be treated with a sense of normalcy. All of our programs are free because we want the support. We want to support the person and their families without having them to worry about paying for anything. In 2009, the Harrises had three relatives battling with cancer. So I'm just going to jump on here. 10 years later, they opened up the Cancer Who Cares Center in February 2019. This center's primary goal is to bring all people affected by cancer together to create a reliable network of support and resources. Look at this. People are ringing the bell, y'all. Look at this right here. This is on their Instagram. This is on their Instagram. People are ringing their bell. This is a support group for all people. Y'all, look, here's another person. This is a kid ringing the bell. This is a kid ringing the bell. I want y'all to see this. That is amazing. That is amazing to see kids, you know, and the Instagram post says, ring that bell, Maddie. Today was a great day. Maddie got to ring the bell in the Cancer Who Cares family, surrounding her and her ambassador cancer sister. And I can't thank it enough. I mean, this is amazing. They're supporting people. And look at this right here. This is Al right here. This is Al. Al is sitting there and supporting someone while they're battling chemo. He says, chemo sessions 8 all done. Some people might not understand why I do what I do, but this smile says enough. Energy and vibes is incredible. And her positive attitude just rubs off. And not to mention, she's a dope ambassador herself. I love you, sis, with your greedy self. Look at that. This is amazing. Let me just take this off. Look at that right there. This is a support group, ladies and gentlemen. This is what I'm talking about. And this is in Philadelphia. And I'm telling you guys, this is amazing to see this happen. To see this happen. In my book, this is amazing. This is amazing. This is amazing. Especially we have people who are supporting one another. And many of us, people in our families, have been affected by this dreadful disease. And we have family members who are going through different sessions and seeing the chemo and dealing with family members. And that's hard. That's hard. That's hard. So I wanted to encourage you, and you can reach out to this company. Let me see if I can find their information. If you guys ever want to reach out to them, this is where they're located right here. Let me put it up here. It says the center is located at 3400 Richmond Street in Philadelphia, in the Philadelphia Port Richmond neighborhood. To find out more, please go to their Instagram. It's called Cancer_Who, WHO, and on their Facebook and Team Overtime and Cancer Who. This is amazing, y'all. This is amazing. I love inspirational stories that happens like this, and we need more of this. I'm hoping this will be a continual process. Now, I know some of you guys are probably saying there are other cancer support groups out here. The majority of them are with the hospitals. So they have limitations, right? So this is what we know. They're the only black group that's doing this. And it's not just for black people, okay? They just are black owned. That's all. It is for everyone. All right, guys, that's all I have for you tonight. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I hope you really, 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 really got something from this. And if you didn't, come back Thursday. God bless. Take care. See you. Peace.